Yo, what is up, Ramblin' Raiders listeners? Welcome back to the RIP Week 6 college football picks. We have the entire panel with us here today. Laney's Locks made it all the way back from the French Riviera. He brought the French flu back with him, but it hasn't altered his mind for making his picks today. We got Big Pick Joe really trying to dig deep, find that courage within to bounce back after the horrendous Week 5. What was it? Big Pick Army went through. And then we have Tail Magic Mark. Still finding looking for that signature weekend to come about. We know that he has it in him. He's capable. He's just got to again see the board, get lucid, and find his angle, find his mark. So here we are, guys. Week 6 pre-pod. Somebody had mentioned, I think it was Mark, that we're halfway after this weekend. We will be halfway through the college football season, which is a damn shame. It flies by. It goes way too quick. Enjoy every Saturday. Get with the boys, go to the gas station, get you a 30 rack, crack some cold ones because it's all going to be over in a flash, man, in a blink of an eye. So let's talk about it, man. I'm going to do, since we didn't record a Ramblin' recap, or I'm sorry, a Ramblin' preview episode this week for the Butt Bowl, the mighty Butt Bowl taking place in Waco, which is fitting because their stadium looks like a huge toilet. We're going to do a little bit of a breakdown. I'm going to give you 3 keys to how Texas Tech can win the game this Saturday in Waco against the Baylor Bears. And then we're going to have our normal college football picks around the panel. So we'll start with you, Lane, since you've been out and about. First off, how was France, man? You drink some good wine and, have a good time.
Good to be back. Someone's got to bring the wins for this crew after y'all's horrendous last week. Y'all are really missing me. I see that. I now have the best record, I do believe, the best win percentage. So I'll take that all day long. I will say I went to the PSG Marseille game. I guess that's almost 2 weeks ago now. On the first Saturday I was in France, and y'all be happy that I didn't tweet out the picks I wanted to because I was really wanting to bet Marseille, and they got absolutely smoked by PSG. I think it was a 4-0 final. So just be thankful I didn't tweet those picks out.
That would have been tough. But, hey, you were rioting out there. You got to finally partake in your first soccer riot.
Hey, I'll say this. Y'all think we get all lit for college football? Does not even compare to these Euros in their soccer, man. They go absolutely nuts in the crowd. They stand the entire time, no sitting, and they're singing and chanting the entire time too. 30 different songs. They all know the words. Like, they're chanting back and forth across the stadium. It's wild. They definitely go hard.
A bunch of
European soccer.
Sounds like a bunch of raging loonies across the pond over there. They have a lot of history, a lot of culture ingrained in those soccer matches and in their fans' DNA. So they're a little more organized, whereas I think at the college level, it's just, you saw at the Grove this weekend with LSU, fans getting in fights around every corner, way too much drinking. It's they seem to have it, a little bit more up here, man. They're with it, whereas some of us are struggling at these football games. But hey, we'll get there. America will get there over time. They still got a couple hundred years on us, so we're working our way back.
That's right.
I know, man. It sounds like it was going to be a lot of fun, and you had a great time with Carol. Y'all ate a bunch of baguettes, sipped your
we had a
lattes.
Bunch of chocolate croissants.
Chocolate croissant.
Really
Lane went to Le Cafe with his petit ami.
It was really good. Drank a lot of coffee, wine, beer, teenies, all of it.
Well, hey, man, that's a great combination there. We're happy to have you back. Let's go ahead and start with some picks, dude. Let's get your picks for the weekend. I know you had a zinger in there. You said that was going to really throw Magic Mark for a loop. So I'm ready. This
one's really gonna piss Magic Mark off.
Wait, real quick.
I told him. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Crack.
Cheers to Week 6. I wish it was a beer, but we got to get ready for the old man's basketball league tonight. So we're sipping on LaCroix instead.
That's right. But no, I told Mark pre-pod, I was like, hey, there's a pick that's really going to piss you off. And I was really shocked he couldn't pick it out and couldn't find which game it was. And that pick is going to be Colorado -4 at Arizona State. Look,
here we go.
I thought Colorado was overrated, and they were. And they showed that. The game against Oregon, and they had a great comeback against USC. Wasn't quite enough. But they were overrated from where they were. However, this Arizona State team, 1-4, they're ass. They got beat by Oklahoma State. They suck. they're just, I mean, Colorado's not getting enough points here, plain and simple. 4 points is not enough for them. They're going to definitely cover this, even though it's on the road. Like I said last week, they had a good little comeback against USC. They got rolling. I think they're going to win this one by a lot more than 4 points against a bad Arizona State team.
Like that pick, Lane.
Yeah, I knew you would like that one, Mark.
2 words. I love it. You cannot have better content, better analysis than these 2 words. Their ass. Actually, 3 words technically.
I mean,
They are ass.
beat them. What a joke! Oklahoma State beat them. It's a joke.
I love
Yeah, I like that a lot, Lane. I got that written down on my sheet for potential live bullets.
And hey, I'm a guy. I don't analyze. I don't bet with emotions. I go by the stats. And Colorado is in the stat book here. This is a win for them by more than 4 points. Next pick, staying on line with the Oklahoma State is trash narrative. We're going Kansas State -11 at Oklahoma State. Look, I just don't think Oklahoma State has it this year. Mike Gundy is struggling to keep this team afloat. They haven't looked good. They got beat by a bad Iowa State team. I like Kansas State in this one -11. They're bouncing back. I think they played well against UCF after their loss against Missouri. So I like Kansas State in this one. Next pick, staying in the Big 12. The theme of this week is really road warriors. I have all but one pick as a road game. So TCU on the road at Iowa State. 2 worst teams in the Big 12 are Oklahoma State and Iowa State. They played each other last week. TCU's only getting 6.5 points in this one. I think they win by more than a touchdown on the road. Again, Iowa State has just looked horrible with all the betting allegations going on. They're losing it. They're starting to kind of go under. I like TCU in this one -6.5. The next one, they're horrible.
Iowa State, their ass.
They're bad.
The two worst teams in the Big 12 right now.
I think the safe bet. Go ahead, Joe.
They need to move on from Matt Campbell.
Unfortunately, 2 years ago you wouldn't be able to say that, but now
Talk about a guy who flew to.
He had an opportunity to go coach anywhere, and now nobody wants him.
He flew too close to the sun, man. Got burned, and now look at him.
Absolutely.
He's out there drunk in a cornfield somewhere trying to find himself.
Trying to find it. Hey, let me tell you something. Iowa State, they ain't going to find it this year until they move on from him probably. So next pick, though, is another Road Warrior game. This one's Notre Dame at Louisville. Louisville hasn't played anybody. They're ranked. I just don't think they've beaten anybody good. I think Notre Dame has been tested. Their one loss is to Ohio State. That was a close game that they could have won. I like Notre Dame's quarterback. He's playing really well. Notre Dame -6.5 at Louisville. I like them to take care of it by more than a touchdown. It's a bettor's game. It's a bettor's line right there, right on the 6.5. So look for Notre Dame to take care of that one. And then this last one might piss off Mark too, because it's some could say this is an emotional bet. However, it's not. I've got Wyoming over Fresno State, or not over Fresno State, but covering the spread at +6. This one's in Laramie. Again, Fresno State hasn't played anybody. Yes, they're undefeated. They're ranked now, which is surprising me because I don't think they've played anybody. Wyoming, again, I think has been tested more so than Fresno State, and they only have one loss to Texas, a game they were in. They beat, in my opinion, a Texas Tech team that they shouldn't have. That they outperformed a better team in Texas Tech. So Wyoming +6 at home in Laramie. As Tech fans, we know things get weird in Laramie. Look for Wyoming to cover this one +6.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, I had Fresno last week, and they didn't look very good against Nevada, who is winless. So I definitely think Wyoming definitely has a chance to win this outright.
I don't have a chance to win it outright, but definitely cover the spread. I also wanted to pose a question to the panel. Is Kansas's quarterback back? Is he going to play?
He's day-to-day. He missed practice on Monday, but I was looking at that before too because I wanted to bet Kansas, even though they burned me last week. He was like a scratch like 30 minutes before kickoff.
Blew out his back at the hotel.
But I looked it up right before we got on, and he's been out of practice and he's a game-time decision.
I've been seeing that the head coach didn't rule it out, but if he somehow plays, Kansas is a lock here, getting +2 points. If he plays, I think they win the game outright. But
who are they up against?
We don't know.
Who's it up? At home. Oh
yeah, I kind of like that.
that line tells me that they're assuming that
He's not
Daniels
playing.
is not going to play. What was I about to say? Going back to Lane's, the Wyoming and Fresno State. I saw something on Twitter earlier this week that some are saying that this is debatably has the most implications for a non-P5 like game this year, that the winner of this game could go on to be that whatever G6 or whatever the however many conferences are now out of the P5. I don't know. There's so much realignment going on. It's really throwing me for a loop. G5 or G6 teams that, the team that represents the non-P5 world of college football in the Cotton Bowl or what have you, or in one of these better bowl games. Last year it was Tulane, and this year they're and again, I watched Wyoming a little bit against Texas Tech, watched some of that game against Texas in Austin. I haven't really seen much of Fresno State, but they're saying that there's a lot of implications around this game for one of these teams winning and going on to be that non-power 5 team that makes some noise this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Wyoming already took care of Appalachian State, the next best team aside from Fresno State on their schedule. So Wyoming gets by Fresno State here. They look to have a really good shot at being only a one-loss team. So I think they're going to be playing inspired at home, +6, mash it.
I think I saw a poll this week too that had Fresno State projected to be like that 12th team to make the playoff.
Yeah, I mean this game really has a lot riding on it, and then with Fresno undefeated and Wyoming, having the one loss to right now top 5. Texas on the road by, I guess they ended up losing by 20 something.
But let's be honest, Fresno State hasn't just really played anybody, in my opinion. They beat Purdue by 4 points.
Yeah.
They beat a bad Purdue team too.
A bad Purdue team. They beat a bad Arizona State team. Those are their P5 wins, and they're not very good. So
all that to be said, if whoever wins this game, if they can run the table afterwards, they're going to have a shot at being up there high in the rankings at the end of the season. So moving on, guys, I do want to give a quick sponsor shout out to Pennant Patchworks. Head over to pennantpatchworks.com. They have the best Texas Tech lids that you will find in any market, best hats in the game. Go ahead and use the promo code RAMBLIN, RAMBLIN. Again, that's RAMBLIN, all caps, RAMBLIN, for a 10% discount when you're checking out over on your total purchase. So go load up on some hats. They do great work at pennantpatchworks.com or pennantpatchworks.com, and we appreciate their sponsorship for this week's episode. I do want to talk about, before we go to Big Pick Army and the week of redemption and also Magic Mark, I want to talk a little bit about Texas Tech at Baylor. The Butt Bowl is now being played on site at both of these campuses. We went away from Jerry's World, which was, the spot back in whenever we were in college. Back in the day, they had a good, feels like it was like a 10-year span there where the game was in DFW every year. This is going to be pretty interesting because, both these teams have had seasons that kind of mirror. They do. They mirror one another, right? You start off with a terrible loss that everyone, expected you to win the game. For Baylor, it was Texas State at home. For Texas Tech, it was on the road at Wyoming. So you drop an opener that was embarrassing for your program, your fan base. Nobody expected you to lose that game. You go on week 2 to lose to a Pac-12 team, both at home. Baylor loses to Utah and Waco. Texas Tech loses to Oregon and Lubbock. You lose to 2 really quality Pac-12 teams in barn burners where you lead a majority of the game. Both teams looked like they were going to pull it out and, rally from their loss and get a huge W. And both Baylor and Texas Tech find a way to choke it at the end and end up squandering those games. You get your first win against a nobody. I think it was Long Island, something for Baylor. Tech, it's Tarleton State. And then you turn around. Baylor gets absolutely embarrassed against Texas at home. Tech goes on the road, loses the game against West Virginia that really, I think they beat themselves in a lot of ways, although West Virginia has proven to be scrappy, undefeated in Big 12 play, only lost to Penn State. And then you turn around, Tech gets a big win, really a must-have win. I talked about it with Jack on the last rambling preview we did, that it was a do-or-die situation for Texas Tech. They get it done at home against Houston. And Baylor, I don't know if anybody watched that game. I wasn't able to because I was at a hotel. I was at a conference. I watched the Tech game, then I had to get on the road. But talk about a wild fourth quarter finish. They're getting drove the whole game. What was it, 26? I'd have to look it up in a second. 26 or something unanswered in the fourth quarter to come back and edge one out at UCF. So you have the same record. You know, you get here in a very similar manner. I know their Big 12 games have been a little bit different, but your non-con looks pretty similar. Line opened up in Vegas at, I believe it was Baylor -2. And since then, it's kind of fluctuated. I looked on ESPN earlier and it was Tech -1.5. I saw Circa book in Vegas, I think had it at Baylor -1. Vegas thinks it's going to be a close game. I tend to agree with them. Lane, I was going to throw it to you to get I want to kind of hear your take on this. I know there's a lot, both these teams are playing for a lot this weekend as well, something that you and I discussed. For Texas Tech, last week was quite literally a must win against one of the worst teams, Houston, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State. Worst teams at home. If you're going to salvage your season at all, you got to win it. The needle hasn't moved much in week 6, right? I mean, going on the road. This is a game, you win it, you're 3-3 going into the back half of the season. You got 2 wins, a road win, and Big 12 play, and you have some momentum to carry you through. You lose, you're 2-4, and not us because we're diehards and we're going to bring it to y'all every week because we love Texas Tech. But I think some of your fan base is going to turn apathetic, and you're going to see people start to, disassociate themselves with Texas Tech football and say, how many more days till basketball season?
Yeah, absolutely. Huge week. Like you say, it's for both programs. Whoever wins this game, gets momentum going into the rest of conference play. Whoever loses it loses kind of their some of their fan base. I think it's both teams are in a
Baylor
situation.
Yeah. Baylor doesn't have a fan base to begin with, but Tech could lose theirs.
That's true. And the thing to consider here is this is a big one for Joey as a road game. He's been pretty bad on the road last year included. So this is huge for him to kind of get some momentum on the road, be able to, show that he can coach on the road and get these guys motivated and together for a road game. So those are the two big things going in. For Baylor, having Blake Shapen back is huge for them. He led that comeback against UCF. So that was a big deal to see him kind of get rolling. So that's not a good thing for Texas Tech. But Baron Morton looked good to me on Saturday. That's big for Tech. Taj Brooks looked for him to have a big game against Baylor's poor run defense. So that could be a huge narrative there. But I like Texas Tech in this one. It's probably going to be close because it's on the road. But if I was a betting man, which I am, I'd take Texas Tech at the points at -1.
Oh, we know you are. How about you, Big Pick? What do you think, man? What does your little Red Raider heart tell you is going to happen this weekend?
I think the biggest thing is they have a great running back room that probably doesn't get talked about enough. Richard Reese, Dawson Pendergast, the freshman. So I would say the biggest thing is to be able to stop the run for Tech and establish your own run game on offense. But I stayed away from this line for a reason. I think both teams probably think this is a very winnable game. And so who knows? I would say this game's probably a coin flip.
Mark, hey,
I had the over written down in this game, to be honest. I mean, I know both offenses haven't looked like world beaters by any means, but I think this is definitely going to be, a close, sloppy college football game where you get some block punts, you get some interceptions, pick sixes, some free touchdowns. So I definitely think that, this could be a total play if you want to just sit back and enjoy the Bud Bowl, as Jackson calls it.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I'm with Joe. I'm staying the hell away from this line. I won't be betting on it myself because I just it's hard for me to even call because there's a lot of, I think, kind of outside variables that could influence this game. As Mark just pointed out, who's winning the special teams battle. But we need you, Mark, you're the unbiased perspective and lens third party that we lean into for this. So, I mean, talk to us, man. I need to hear it out of your mouth that Tech's gonna get it done.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and jump in as a completely biased fan and biased better here and say that Morton has one of the best games of his career. Jumpstarts his career at Texas Tech. This is his coming out party. This game with Kitley, they've been dialing things up. This is it for him. This is Morton's coming out party.
2 weeks now he's run with the ones, baby. 2 weeks he's practicing with the ones.
Go ahead.
And then Jackson, I wouldn't necessarily call me an unbiased in this matchup because a little known fact about me: when I was a little kid, I mean, my best friend loved Texas. I hated Texas. Root for Texas was not an option. My favorite color was red. Neither of my
Oh, that's
parents
right.
went to a big college, so I like. There's pictures of me in Texas Tech jerseys and everything as a little kid. So hell yeah, I'm rocking with the Red Raiders.
Dude, okay, I cannot wait to take this clip and play it back, man, because people are going to be pumped to hear that. I always knew deep down, we knew Mark would have made a great Red Raider and really is an honorary Red Raider in our
He was
hearts. So,
Mark was supposed to be my roommate in the dorm room, and he backed out last minute.
I
hey,
didn't back
man.
it out. My mom said you're not going up there wasting my fucking money.
The Aggie Bells were calling him, man, calling him home to College Station. All right, before I want to, because I do want to get to Joe and Mark's picks here so we can wrap this up. I'm going to give you all kind of three keys to the game. I like all the input that the panel's given. This is going to be I'm with Mark. I believe it's going to be kind of a sloppy, grinded out. Whoever's able to really, whether it's Morton or Shapen, maybe find that touch offensively through the air could really help break this game open. One thing I will say, again, and this is just looking at the matchups, I think Texas Tech matches up well with Baylor, truly. Joe talks about the running game. They do have some exceptional running backs. You go look at their stats. These guys can get after you. However, Tech's defense that's their bread and butter is the run game. They're going to be able to stop the run game. Now, the pass game is a different story. I mean, you saw what our boy Smitty Johns did to us last week in the first half. The secondary is getting better. I know Taylor Dimerson, I believe, is back this weekend. So we're getting some of those injured secondary players back in action. Also, there was some other returners on defense for Texas Tech, which is good. The run game we can handle for the most part. So I do like Tech's matchup there, being able to stop Baylor's run. However, the secondary is going to have to play a lot like they did in the second half against Smith if they're going to be able to slow Shapen down. So I like the matchup there. And then on the other side of it, Lane touched on this. This is one of my three keys to victory. Start fast. One, if you're on the road, slow starts. You saw what happened against West Virginia. We started slow and we never got out of that hole that we dug ourselves in. Let's get some momentum early. If there's swings in this game, that's fine, but you got to be in it early. Start fast, and let's run all over this banged-up Baylor defense. Baylor's defense is ranked 113th in rushing defense out of the all FBS right now. Texas Tech, on the other hand, has a top. I think we're 43 or 44 in offensive total or offensive production when you look at that side of the ball, and then also when you look at offensive or running efficiency. And I don't know the exact number or stat. I have to go pull that for y'all. But Texas Tech, they pick and choose their marks well. They pick and choose when to run and utilize those running backs. And that's kind of what skewed the total of us being whatever the 44th ranked rushing offense in the country. It's because we haven't run the ball as much as some other teams have. As you listen to our fans, they'll definitely let you know that. But when we do run the ball, we're extremely efficient. I will go look up. Taj Brooks is having a career year right now. He's been absolutely electric, nails throughout the beginning of this season. Whenever y'all are talking, I'll pull up the ESPN stats on him to talk about what he's averaging. I believe it's around 7.5 yards a carry. So we're running it very efficiently. Stick to your game plan. Don't be afraid to air it out with Morton. Hit him with the deep pass. Mix it up, run your style, but pick your times to run the ball effectively. Hand it off to Brooks. Feed the man. He's having a good year. And let's expose his 113th ranked rushing defense. Lane.
Yeah, not to count out, just real quick point. You're right about Taj Brooks. He's having an absolute monster year, but let's not forget Cameron Valdez made it back from injury last week and looked really well too. So we'll have a double spearhead there at running back.
Both guys went over 100, went over a C note last week in running yards. So Taj Brooks on the season. Pull this up. I'm not sure exactly where he's at. I don't know. We'll find that later. It's good though. I'll tell you that much. Actually, Valdez, he had a big run last week on only 6 carries. He ended up having more yardage than Brooks, man. 111 as opposed to 101. Brooks 21 carries.
40-yard touchdown run. So
late
in the game, but
and Valdez was 6. So at this point, it's not even really analysis anymore because everyone and their mom on Twitter has been just repeating the notion of let's run the damn ball, give it off. And against Baylor, you're going to see that utilized and more effective. The next one, run the damn ball. Next point of emphasis for me, catch the damn ball. Our receivers, we have some of a very, best receivers well, at least coming into the year, they were highly touted, some of the best receivers in the conference. So far, I would say that guys are getting open, they're running great routes, but when it comes to executing just right here, man, hitting you in the numbers and securing the catch, we have not done a great job at that. Coach McGuire has referenced it. You go back, the West Virginia game was kind of when it really opened my eyes to the fact that we haven't been doing great at that. You go back and watch highlights in the Oregon game, Tech receivers missed a lot of balls. And even last week, we had a drive where we missed 3 straight catches, 3 straight drops, ended a drive for us in the second, possession in the second half. That was, we weren't out of the woods yet. I think we were up 8 or something like that. So it was kind of still a big momentum point in the game, and we had 3 straight drops that hurt us. So look, we got to catch the ball. Again, guys are getting open. Morton's running with the ones. He's getting more comfortable. I know against West Virginia, he missed some marks, missed some guys, but last week he was on the money with a lot of his throws. He's getting it to these guys. They got to execute, man. And look, I don't care what you say. You can coach them till they're blue in the face. You learn how to catch the ball as a receiver when you're in 6th and 7th grade, man. There's not a whole lot of coaching that can go into when a guy throws it to you right here in your chest and you just don't bring it in, man. It's kind of that old verbiage.
Yeah, it's kind of that old verbiage. You can't teach speed. You can't teach hands. You either have good hands or you don't. You either catch the ball or you don't.
Exactly.
Catch your hands and move on. You're a D1 college receiver. We know you can catch the ball. Do it.
Yeah, exactly. I get 3, you got 3 or 4 star guys out there. You got here for a reason. You've shown it before. Let's show it this weekend against Baylor. Look, people have been criticizing Kitley, and to an extent, rightfully so. I still believe Kitley's capable of getting this offense where he wants to go, and turning it around. But ultimately, Kitley's got to be better in certain aspects of the game. Our players have to execute better in certain aspects of the game, and catching is one of them. Last but not least, don't beat yourselves. And I know it's a cliche, but look, this is 2 teams. Vegas has it as a 1-point game. Both these teams are 2-4. You're on the road, pretty evenly matched. I think Tech matches up, well against Baylor, but ultimately, I think when it's all said and done, you look at who won and who lost, you're going to go look at these columns of who turned the ball over more, who was penalized more. It's the little things on the road that are going to get it done. Again, I'll go back to our last Big 12 road game, West Virginia. Penalties absolutely brutalize you in this game, and ultimately I think are a big reason why you end up losing. You can't over penalize yourself. You can't beat yourself at the end of the day. So don't turn it over. Take care of the ball and do your job to help us secure this win on the road. I'm rocking with the Red Raiders. I love my boys. Let's hope they get it done. Pivotal game this weekend in the Butt Bowl. Let's hope it's a lot better result than it was last year in Lubbock. Now we move on to our last 2 pickers. Mark, I think Mark looks hungry down there, man. Joe, I'm going to give Joe some time to really, contemplate more on these picks, second guess himself. Mark, you look hungry, dude. Lay it on us, man. What do you got for this week's college football slate?
I am hungry. I mean, the record this year hasn't been great. I'll be the first one to admit that I got to be better. Last Saturday, just to recap my day, we had the 11 a.m. kickoff. We looked pretty good against Arkansas, and I might have indulged in a few alcoholic beverages after the big win. And, I didn't really pay attention to how my card was just absolutely going to a dumpster fire. So 1-4 week, but I think I've got some winners for you guys here. Anyone still telling? I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But so first pick, this is touching base on Joe went with Georgia Tech last week, and they lost to Bowling Green outright. Miami is -20 at home versus Georgia Tech. I think Miami's pretty good. Obviously, you see what they did to us, and then obviously I'm just going off of Joe's theory, fading bad teams. I think Georgia Tech stinks. Their quarterback sucks, and I think 20 is probably not. I think 20 can get there pretty easily. So let's go with Miami -20. Second, I just touched base on Arkansas. So Ole Miss -11.5 at home versus Arkansas. Arkansas just they do stupid stuff. They look like a JV team out there sometimes. That just things that happen, poor tackling, not careless with the football. So I think 11.5 here Ole Miss can get that done. I like Ole Miss's quarterback. He's pretty good. Home after a big win, the fan base is definitely going to be on fire. The West is wide open. So, at one loss, Ole Miss is definitely still in the mix.
Yeah.
Third pick, Washington State plus 3.5 at UCLA. I kind of like Washington State to win this outright if you guys want to play this money line, but I think Washington State's just a better team than UCLA. I think UCLA is going to be able to score some points, but I think Washington State is going to score points as well. I like their quarterback, so let's go Washington State plus 3.5 here, and then
Hey,
sprinkle some money on
wait,
it.
Chef rides on that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I was
Yeah,
surprised that this line wasn't closer to a pick 'em.
that'll
Jeff needs all the help he can get.
That'll definitely be a loser.
Is Washington State, what's their record right now? The Pac-12 is the best conference in football right now.
They're undefeated.
Yeah, they're undefeated, ranked
They
17th
came
in the
off
country.
two emotional home
What?
wins and then had a bye last week.
Oh my gosh,
UCLA's defense is pretty good. I will be fading.
that's
We'll
sexy.
see when it comes out. When the Pac-12 gets into bowl season, we'll see who the best conference is.
I was thinking about fading that pick, and then it solidified it right when Jay said he was riding.
Yeah.
I'm going to pencil that one in and have live bullet.
Go ahead and make a note on that, big boy. Mark, what
He
else you
hasn't been
got?
able. He hasn't been able to mush the Longhorns yet, though. So he's been willing his powers against Texas. It hasn't worked quite yet.
Good point.
Yeah, but number 4 is, speaking of Texas, the Red River Shootouts this weekend. This is usually a crazy game, back and forth. I think both of these defenses are actually pretty good. And I think both of these defenses are actually pretty good, and the total is at 60.5. So we're gonna go under 60.5. I think Texas's front seven is the best they've had. I mean, post Mac Brown, they finally can stop people. That's been their Achilles heel for the last 10, 12 years. So take this under. This could get crazy. This is a game where usually a lot of punts, a lot of interceptions, crazy stuff. But 60.5 is a lot of points for two good defenses.
Hey, I made that noise just because that was supposed to be representative of the Texas and OU fan bases, just basically making out with each other, hyping each other up and, gassing each other up how great they are and how they're really sticking it to the Big 12 on their way out, and just this love fest between the two of them. It's disgusting, and I just don't, I don't appreciate it. So whoever wins or loses, I'll be happy that one of them loses.
Tech beats them both.
Absolutely. No, we'll show up in Austin and let them know, and then OU is they're so excited that Tech's not on their schedule right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so OU is not playing Tech on the way out. That kind of stuff.
No, hey, and I'm
Not
telling you right now,
Mark, not till the Big 12 championship.
That's right, yeah. And let's just say this: OU right now, they fear 2-4 Texas Tech. 2-4 Texas Tech has them shaking in their boots.
Whoa, dude,
we're not 2-4. 2-3. 2-3 Texas Tech. That's right. No, we're a lot better than that. 2-3 has them shaking in their boots. But I'm just tired of these two fan bases, just in love with one another. It's disgusting.
Yeah, those are two of the, I would say, Mount Rushmore worst fan bases to deal with. So I agree with you there. And then lastly, last pick, Maryland is on the road at Ohio State. This number was 20. I think Maryland is not that bad, and I think Ohio State is not that good. I think Ohio State, with a miracle drive to beat Notre Dame, their fans are probably calling for their quarterback to sit if that kid from Notre Dame doesn't drop that interception in a crucial moment. So I don't think Ohio State is all that. So I think 20 is a lot of points here. Obviously, I think Ohio State wins the game, but I think this is going to be closer than what people think.
Yeah. Hey, love those picks. Y'all, be on the lookout for Mark's card. Listen to this and ride with him so y'all can hopefully, turn some profit this weekend. I will say this before we get to Joe: the comeback is greater than the setback, man. And I've seen Joe battle back from worse situations before than being 0-5 on a card. He's come back many a time. He's like Jon Snow. He always comes back, and I believe in him. So we're gassing him up. I have a feeling that you're going to be you're going to want to ride with Big Pick Army as he turns the corner this weekend.
Yeah, I'll say one thing before Joe goes. He takes it personally. So when he has a bad week, he takes it personally. He really studies the book and comes back well. So Big Pick Army could be in for a treat this week.
I believe so. I wrote on my sheet 5-0, be great. Just know to all my soldiers out there, part of Big Pick Army. I saw the DMs. I saw all the hate. I know I went 0-5, and I'm not making excuses, but I do want to highlight some of the quarterback debacles that I had last weekend. We have Jalen Daniels, who's a scratch 30 minutes before kick.
That was ass. That was a bad beat for y'all.
Haynes King, I mean, gave this guy a whole hype clip, and I think there's a chromosome surplus on the man under center for Georgia Tech. That's on me. I take full responsibility for that. And then
my God.
my Akron pick, man, DJ Irons blows his knee out on a game-winning drive, fumbles the rock, and end up losing that game in OT to Buffalo. So I had a rough weekend. I'm excited for this card, and I'm ready to go 5-0.
Wait, let me answer or hear this again. You're getting DM with some hate mail?
Oh yeah. The DMs we're going crazy Saturday, Sunday.
I mean, are we talking like, like I'll kill your family, or just like, hey man, like what the hell? Like what's up with your picks?
No, it's like Georgia State 20 point favorites get beat outright. Nice pick. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Big Pick Army might miss a mortgage payment after that weekend.
And they
Big
say
Pick Army's like looking at like maybe like going over to Tail Magic Mark or something.
Yeah, no, and they say Big Pick Army's kind of finicky. Like they ride with the wave. So like they're either picking you up and like exalting you as their hero, or they're just tearing your ass down after you have one bad weekend. They're kind of wishy-washy.
They're loyal, and I'm gonna give my followers what they deserve this week. I'm excited. My first pick.
Yeah.
I've got UNC at home -9.5. Again, I'm going back to my principles. Don't be afraid of the big number. Playing a Syracuse team who got the brakes beat off of them by Clemson last week. This team is just not very good. UNC, similar talent level as Clemson and elite quarterback play. They get it done, covered by at least 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Joe, just to jump in, I really like that pick as well. I've been riding with North Carolina all season. This is a good pick. Syracuse, like you said, got beat up by Clemson. Not enough points given here to North Carolina. I like their quarterback play as well.
Yeah. Next pick, Texas A&M +1 at home. We got Magic Mark in the building, boots on the ground. This Bama team is not the Bama team of past years. They are going to have a couple losses in October, going into October for the first time since the Saban era. I'm excited for this Texas A&M team. I think this is the last time you'll get a good price on this team at home +1 against a shaky Alabama team. They're going to have to throw the ball against Texas A&M, and I think they get it done at home.
And I want to jump in here and just issue a formal apology to Max Johnson for all the slander that was given last weekend on the RIP, because I'm a full believer now. I've been texting all my friends just at random times throughout the day, just Max. Like, it's all about Max Saturday. Let's get it done.
You were really like getting after his ass too, man.
Yeah, I was throwing pick 6 though, so let's see. But this Saturday, you got a chance. You got a chance to be a legend, dude. So let's go do it.
Hey, they're saying A&M has a chance to like fully cement the fall of the Saban empire. Like it's finally coming down. Can they do it?
Nothing more.
Joe.
Can they do it? I doubt it.
Who else you got, Joe?
I got Marshall +6.5 going on the road against NC State. I don't think this NC State is that great. They've struggled against some quality teams. Marshall, they're having a great season, got a great new head coach, and +6.5 is just too many points. You see a dogfight in North Carolina.
We are
Marshall. Yeah. Fourth pick. You got an Oregon State team going on the road against Cal. Oregon State coming off an emotional victory last week against Utah. DJ, their quarterback, has in the past struggled on the road. This Cal team, I'd actually sprinkle a little bit of money line, but I'm taking +9.5. Cal gets it done at home. That's too many points. Oregon State is a little bit overhyped by Vegas this week.
All right, man. Those are you got one more?
Yeah, I got one more. Number 5. I'm going back to my intangibles. So, like, you can bet on players, you can bet on quarterback play, but I like throwing in some weather, maybe in like home
Yeah.
environment. This game,
Yeah.
I will, like I said earlier, I will be fading Mark in the first half. I'm taking UCLA first half -2.5 versus Washington State. Let me give you a couple facts. This game will be played at the Rose Bowl at noon. Noon kickoff at the Rose Bowl. It's going to be slow. You see a lot of these games in LA get off to a slow start. Colorado started slow against USC, started slow against Oregon, and finished slow against Oregon. These West Coast games at noon, people don't wake up. You got a Dodgers home game that day, and you have a USC home game. People are going to be occupied in LA. They will not be at the Rose Bowl watching UCLA versus Washington State. So I
They'll
think
be
this
playing,
UCLA line, their defense is stout. You get a slow start to the game, and UCLA covers first half.
They'll be playing in front of tens of fans, man. They're starting at 12 o'clock. And hey, facts. I mean, our boy Shapiro said it best when it comes to betting. Like, facts don't care about your feelings, man. Those are the facts right there, Joe.
Yeah.
That's good analysis from our West Coast correspondent, Joe.
I was gonna say
Nobody's got a better feel in the Pac-12 than Joe.
he's
Hey,
I mean
they're gonna be
he's a
sleeping
local
in.
over there. He understands the cultural, vibes.
No one's got a better beat on the Pac-12 football than Joe, and no one's got a better beehive in the West Coast than Joe. So you gotta take his word on it.
I hope the
Yeah,
weather
I'm
hadn't been
gonna-
messing with your droves over there.
Yeah, I don't actually have a beehive. I was watching the new Netflix show on David Beckham in the opening scene, and he's like actually got a beehive. And I wanted to text you guys, be like, look, like go roast David Beckham, go roast me.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for you to ship me some of that homegrown mead that you're working on.
I'll send
The
you
honey-
some honey.
The honey mead. Great, great episode, great cards this week. I think everybody really dug deep. I know I mean, just like the, college football teams have been doing, we're going with the ups and downs of the season. You have some big weekends and you have some down weekends, but here we are halfway through. And I think, this is something that we're going to, keep bringing to you guys, even when things turn south and are at their worst. The panel will be here to guide you back, man, guide you back to the gridiron. So looking forward to a great rest of the season. Big game for the Ags this weekend for Magic Mark and Magic Mark Nation. Big game for Texas Tech. Got to turn it around. I'll tell you this, 3-3 feels a hell of a lot better than 2-4 will. And you'll see it when it comes to how the fan base is interacting with one another and how the fan base continues to follow and support this team. So a lot of action. Can't wait. I don't know what y'all's plans are. I know Joe won't be able to make it down, but maybe we'll get the 3 Houston area guys together to watch some Astros, watch some college football, and we'll bring y'all some content on our social medias. Make sure you're following us on social so we can give y'all some updates with how the weekend's going there as we enjoy a few cold ones. Lane, how many are you dropping tonight against or in our city league?
First game back from France. I was a little sick yesterday. Some were saying it's kind of corresponding with the Michael Jordan flu game. So look for me to have maybe 40, 50 points in this one.
I love it, man. We'll keep y'all posted on that. Follow us on Twitter at Ramblin' Raiders, Instagram at Ramblin' Raiders, Facebook, our page is Ramblin' Raiders Podcast, TikTok, we've been getting some good growth there at Ramblin' Raiders. Those are the socials. Make sure you rate, review, subscribe. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we've also seen our subscriptions go up there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and continue to ride with the boys. We'll take the bling to the bank. You take the bets to the book. We'll take the bling to the bank as always. Take the bookies down. Let's have a great weekend, boys.
Yes, sir.
Very long.